his skull. "You mean this? No muss, no fuss. What do you think, Cody? Should I get an earring like the NBA players?"
"Maybe not," Cody said. "Who's Sage?"
"My partner. You'll meet her shortly."
"Girlfriend?" I asked.
"Sort of."
"Have you gone back to work at Boeing?"
"Nope, still haven't."
My biggest hope for the summer was that we could do some rock climbing together. Here was a guy who'd climbed Mount Rainier in a whiteout and helped rescue the survivors of a group that had its tents blown off the mountain near the summit.
"Are you still climbing? Still doing search and rescue?"
I asked, casually, keeping my enthusiasm in check.
"Nah," Neal said. "I don't really do that stuff anymore."
Cody and I waited at the curb with our mound of luggage, which was mostly mine. 9 weeks away called for 2/3 of everything I owned. We waited for what felt like a long time. Everything was confusing, edgy, and noisy. The lanes closest to the curb were clogged with cars stopping to pick up arriving passengers. Just like back at LaGuardia, security guards and soldiers on the lookout for terrorists were adding to the tension. My eyes were drawn to a large maroon van in the outer lane. Jackie's Wild Seattle was written in large letters across the side, with Wildlife Rescue and Rehab underneath, plus an 800 number. At either end of the lettering was a seal's face, all eyes and whiskers, and the white head of a bald eagle. "Hey, that's Uncle Neal driving," Cody yelled. "That must be the ambulance. Look, Shan, check out his passenger." A very alert black and white dog was riding shotgun. Neal managed to thread his way to the curb in front of us, where he lurched to a stop and jumped out. "Is that your partner by any chance?" Cody asked, as all 3 of us grabbed luggage. "Is that Sage?"
"You're quick, Cody. Yes, indeed, that person up front wearing the furry suit is my partner, and this van is an extension of my body. I've already put 45,000 miles on it this year." Neal lifted up the back, and I found out where the gamey smell on his clothes was coming from. The van reeked of it. There were feathers all over, a few old duffel bags, metal boxes, fiberglass kennel carriers of various sizes, a giant fishing net. "Is there going to be enough room for our stuff?" I wondered aloud. "Has to be," Neal said, pulling some of the kennel carriers out onto the pavement. "It'll just take some rearranging."
He was huffing and puffing, and his forehead was beaded with sweat.
"Let me do that," I said.
I was surprised how out of shape he was.
"You're dressed too nice," Neal protested.
"Just jeans and a top."
"I mean you're too clean."
Obviously, teenage girls weren't the sort of wildlife Neal was familiar with. He was going to treat me like I was fragile when I was anything but.
"No problem,"
I said, grabbing a kennel carrier in each hand.
"I'm adaptable. So is Cody. Aren't you, Cody?"
"Not too small and not too big," Cody said.
Neal and I looked at each other. Then it dawned on both of us that my little brother was talking about the dog. "Border Collie," Neal told him. I said to Neal, "You organize things inside. I'll hand this stuff to you." He took my suggestion. His eyes met mine, and he said, "Thanks for being adaptable, Shannon. That's really going to help."
"Mom said you live at the beach these days."
"I did the last couple years, until today."
"Hey, Shanny," Cody called. "This one has something in it." He was on his knees looking into one of the carriers on the pavement. Suddenly, 2 security guards followed by a soldier came running right at us.
"What's in there?"
shouted the one in the lead. He was very young, with an unconvincing mustache. His nameplate said Duffy. One hand was at his hip, on his gun. Cody took in the 3 stressed-out men in uniform, towering over him. In a very small voice, my brother answered, "4 baby raccoons." Neal bent to lift the carrier so they could see inside its door. "Don't."